Spirit Island fans, Matt here, playing Rising Heat of Stone and Sand and Pandemonium Lightning into Sweden 6. So Pandemonium changes Lightning's innate to instead give you a boatload of fear and the ability to add strife. This is particularly powerful against adversaries that do lots of their damage on the Ravage, so Sweden especially, and looks at cards like Harbingers of Lightning, which lets you push to Han, suddenly become a lot more useful. Let's get into it. Okay, so we get a jungle royal backing, and then a start in the mountains, which is honestly not that bad, all things considered. So let's start off with Rising Heat. So right away, I'm looking at this land as a huge problem. It's going to Ravage for 9 damage, so I'm thinking of Sweltering Exhaustion on turn 2 to just solve that right off the bat. Then I look at something like Gift of Searing Heat, which we can use to stop a build. That's kind of useful. We could use that turn 1 on presence that's located in there in order to just stop that immediately. And then Stinging Sandstorm lets you gather 1 presence and then do 1 damage there. So we could, for instance, put a presence here, Stinging Sandstorm into it, and then right off the bat, ping that town, and then a sacred site gets built there because you have 1 presence to start, a second presence from the gathered presence that creates a sacred site, so the town only has 1 health, and then you can kill it with Singing Sandstorm. We would need 2 card plays to do that, and then 1 energy from Lightning. Lightning often doesn't play anything going straight into this, so this is not the worst move in my mind. So let's go ahead, and I think if we're going this path, we're going G3, so we gain a power card. Call to Isolation actually has immediate value just pushing an Explorer. Disorienting Landscape also gets great value right off the bat, and it adds a Wilds. Wilds are very powerful into Sweden because it has weaker reload. I'm sort of immediately thinking of just snap picking this Disorienting Landscape instead of Stinging Sandstorm. Now we will lose out on the ability to use the Innate, which lets you destroy Explorers, but potential value down the line. Spur On is on element, and it is great. Now the downside, though, is that Lightning, our partner, has so many card plays that we kind of don't need extra card plays. So even though this is on element, it's just a little bit less good for us. I like Disorienting Landscape. I think that's a good line. And if we're doing that, we can place our presence in a different place. And I think it makes sense to add our presence into this jungle or this wetland for the simple reason that it is harder for us to add presence into lands that don't have sands or mountains. So, and then going over here, I think we're going to go top. So now we have 2 energy and 2 card plays. Next turn we go up to 4 card plays and we'll have 4 energy. So we can basically play these 3 cards to hit the innate. Yeah, and then the innate we will use to add a strife into this city, and then use Harbingers of Lightning to push 2 to Han into it. So we're full passing this turn in order to have a very strong next turn. I like that line. And we still have enough energy, right? Because we'll have, it costs us 3 energy, and we will have 4 energy from the line. Okay. I'm going to push the Explorer into this land because it's already a little bit defended. Gift of Searing Heat goes over to Lightning. 1 damage to stop that build. We get a Sands Explorer, which is good on Lightning's board, but a little bit painful on Heat's board. So we want to be able to add presence kind of spread out all over. Because we have 1 range from a sacred site is the requirement for our most restrictive power. And we're probably not going to place a ton of presence as Lightning because we are sort of accidentally building towards a reclaim loop. So I'm going to go into like this land. Okay. And we play these 3 cards. Next turn, we will gain 3 energy because we get the 1 from reclaiming. And so we now get add a strife, which we're going to use here. And we get Shatter Homestead, so we can destroy a town. We can use that in the slow to kill off one of these towns. I think probably this one because it doesn't have any Dahan, whereas here we can use it to kill the strife. The Dahan will kill the strifed town. Okay, I think that's good. And now let's go over to sand. So we can just go. Our hand costs 4 energy, which means we're kind of stuck G3ing, most likely. The other option is to G2 up to 2 energy, so that we'll have 4 energy. We can play 2 cards of our choice. I do like gaining a ton of powers on the spirit and going G3 down bottom track. Okay. Mesmerize Tranquility is not good versus Sweden because towns will still cause a ravage. Rain of Blood gets us a bunch of fear. Pandemonium is a very fear-heavy spirit, so syncing with that is good. Visions of Fiery Doom we could use to like immediately push a town out so that we don't have to think about it, and we will get the extra fear bonus. It does cost energy, but the G3 route gives us lots of energy, so that's fine. Tormenting Rotflies, Disease is good. I'm not sure that it's as useful. I'm gonna grab Visions of Fiery Doom, and we're gonna place a presence. Let's go. Let's go there. And let's look at Shifting Sandstorms does give us the 2 damage to explorers, and we are, let's see, a coastal land will have a good use for that. A mountains, we won't have a good use for it. Wetlands, we'd have a good use. We actually don't have that many good uses for our innate this turn, so maybe instead of Singing Sandstorm, we do Visions of Fiery Doom, and we kick the town out of here so that we don't have to think about it. And I kind of think that this inland mountain, we're just going to make our horrible dump land of problems, and we're just going to skip it every time it comes up with Sweltering Exhaustion, and then eventually build a Sacred Site and plan on using the full innate to just pound it into nothing. Okay, I like this. We also do have Lightning's Boon, which we're playing for elements. Is there any slow power that could be really useful? Call on Herders for aid actually can full solve this land. So instead of Fiery Doom, we're going to go ahead and put on Call on Herders for aid, which is very innate inefficient, but it stops the city from being built, full solves this land. Very convenient in a lot of ways. Okay. Lightning's Boon. Push 2 Dahan into here. Add a strife to the city. And we can kill a town. I think we do want to kill the town slow, though. And then over here, call on herders. Let's pull in this Dahan. And then we're going to push the town and all the explorers out so that nothing will build here. This is skipped. It'll be skipped forever into the future. And then we just have to think of a problem for this land. And we might just like let it blight for scale because I think all of our other lands are currently going to be solved. Is that all of our fast? Yep. Okay, choose a sacred site. Gather 1 explorer into a land. Invaders do +1 damage per land when ravaging. Well, that's awful because that means this is going to kill the Dahan. Add a disease to the jungle or wetland with the most towns or cities. I'm going to add it into this land. Oh, okay. So the choice here is we want to add it into a land that's going to build a city because we stop the cities from existing. City ravages are super painful, but I also don't like adding disease into lands with Dahan because there are events where they can get destroyed. But that said, this has a blight, so it's kind of like a problem land. I think it's fine to drop there. And then here, we'll go here because it doesn't already have a disease. Remove a blight from a... Oh, actually, we should undo that. Because later in the card, we get remove a blight from a land with at least 2 Dahan. This blight's disappearing, so this land is much less of a problem. Okay. Skipping this. And then we don't have any slow damage, so I guess we kill the Explorer, and then we have to add a town because of the Sweden Blight rules. Okay. Not the best effect, not the worst. Okay. Destroy that town. Okay. So Lightning, we are going to reclaim and run back kind of the same play. We do get a very nice defend 5, but we need range, and range is the one thing that we have very little of. Drought is kind of nice. We could use this to kill uh, 3 towns. There's like some time where we will get value on that. Call to trade is good because we could use it to like skip this ravage entirely, and this is going to be a problem land where we don't have a good solution to it. I like Call to Trade. I think it's a great card, and it allows us to concentrate out our problems. Okay. Yeah, I think this is good. And then we're going to strife this town, and we will shatter homesteads somewhere else, and we can pull in Dahan somewhere else. Okay, that's good. And then over here, I think we do want to G3 again for a minor power. Call to Bloodshed is interesting. We could use that to solve D1 immediately. We could Prowling Panthers, not a ton of use. Voracious Growth, a little bit of damage, off element though. We do like damage because of our Sacred Site rules. Razor Sharp Undergrowth. I don't like losing the Dahan against Sweden in particular. Let's go Call to Bloodshed. And let's make... Where do we want to go? Visions of Fiery Doom can also just like... We could use that to push this Explorer out so that it doesn't build, which is very nice. But then we want to use Call to Bloodshed there, so it's not as useful. Huh. Okay. I like eventually starting to have sacred sites in lands that have... Okay. Next turn, we're going to have 3/4 energy, so we'll be able to play whatever we want from the hand. And I think we're in a good spot. So here's my plan. Use Cult Bloodshed to push 3 Dahan into this. We're going to use Visions of Fiery Doom to push this Explorer out so that it doesn't build. And then Stinging Sandstorm lets us gather in a presence. That creates a Sacred Site here. And we'll be able to start doing damage next turn with Call to Bloodshed when we repeat it. And then this land is sort of like left as a potential problem, but we have a bunch of different ways to solve that in the future. I don't know if this is the right line, but let's go for it. So first things first, add a strife. We can destroy a town, but there's no places where this is super useful immediately right off the bat. We do want to push up, use Harbingers of Lightning just to pair the Dahan for like Sweden escalation reasons. I don't know the best way to do that though, right? Because any of these could get targeted and they would all get hit, right? Like there's no space on our board that is safe other than our wetlands, and our wetlands are about to ravage in ways that are dangerous. Is there a place on the other board where we can use Harbingers? Oh, interesting. We could go like, pushing the Dahan in with Harbingers could lead to a future Call to Bloodshed being very strong. I do like that. Either way, let's Visions of Fiery Doom to push this Explorer out. And then, I mean, we can do the Stinging Sandstorm now. I don't think we need to, though, so let's preserve the options and not speed things up that don't need to be sped up. Okay. I think this is good. We're taking 2 Blight from the Sweden rules there. That's fine. If no Blight was added, add a town to the highest number of land with no invaders. Joke's on you, there are none of those on this board. Beast damage, big win. Add a Dahan to a land with 2 or more Dahan. Okay, I like that a lot. So let's go ahead and put one here. Push an Explorer into a land with more towns or cities than the land it came from. That's very funny that there's only one place where we can do this. I do think we want to, though, because this is going to blight no matter what happens. Okay, and we have to add a town. We're going to add it into this mountain in order to avoid the build there. Okay. So let's go ahead and we're going to call to trade here. And then that means we're also going to be Raging Storming. So we're going G3. Which will give us 5 energy. Yeah, more than enough. And so that means we could kill like the town and the explorer here, and then not have to think about this land. Harbingers, jungles are safe for Dahan from the escalation, as are wetlands. Mountains and sands aren't, so these are potential problem areas. I do like the line of pushing 2 Dahan into there. Let's go ahead and kill that town. And then over here, Sandstorm, we do 1 damage to a town. And then Call to Bloodshed, which we'll use to kill the city. Okay. And then on this board, we have 1 land that is exposed to the escalation threat, the mountains. And then over here, the mountains and sands are just a hot mess of escalation risk. So let's gain a power card. Lore is a strong card that is good elements for us. We could gather like this town out in order to full solve this land. Sap, a defend 5 is just very good. We don't have anywhere where we immediately need to use it, but great effect. Push an explorer or town. That's kind of nice. We could use that to push out of here and just like clean that up. Uncanny Melting, blight removal, kind of nice because we have started to take a little bit more blight than we would ideally like to take. I do like Lore of the Unknown. I think that's a great card for us at the moment. So let's look at Sweltering, Lore, and then, maybe a Disorienting Landscape, maybe a Call to Bloodshed to just repeat that line. I don't hate that. Well, there's no way we're only getting the Explorer Destroy innate. We can also just give energy to Lightning, which seems always good. Huh. I do like playing off element though, given that next turn we're going to want to play on element. So let's do like Disorienting Landscape. Okay. And then over here, we are G3ing. Let's get our presence into more places. Okay. Call to trade. We pull in this town. so that this is just an explorer, but it won't build because of the disease. Raging Storm kills that explorer. Raging Storm, by the way, syncs very well with the innate from heat, where invaders have -1 health. Let's remember that for the future. If we want to like Raging Storm this land, it would full clear it. And then let's go over to Mud. We do not have the range to stop that. Big yikes. Maybe we are just letting that go through then. So at that point, we're definitely not playing this card. So instead, we should play anything with fire, and ideally like just fire. So let's look at like, I do like Stinging Sandstorm just to like reposition some of our presence. I think that's a good move. Okay. I like this. So we're going to push this town here. Disorienting Landscape to also push this into here. Raging Storm cleans that. Call to trade. Okay. Add a blight to a land with towns or cities, and we can pay energy to skip it. And it would be 3 energy, which cannot afford. So I think we're going to add the blight here, as painful as that is, because the land is at least skipped. And then heat also cannot afford this. So I guess we're going to add the blight here just because it won't destroy our presence. And we are going to go Blighted Island now. Inlands with disease, 1 damage to each invader, and 1 damage to Dahan. Sure. A little Dahan add, we love that. And then over here, no matter what we do, we're still going to be at risk for the Sweden escalation. Choose a land to isolate. This is great because this is going to protect us from the Sweden escalations a little bit better. So I like this one, and then this one. Okay, each spirit with at least 2 destroys a presence, and you can instead okay, that's fine. We do have to immediately do this, though. So let's lose that presence. I don't think we want to discard. And then we're going to lose that presence. Have to add a town. Let's go there. Okay. So, Stinging... Do we want to do that? Let's think about this. We want to destroy explorers within 1 range of a sacred site. The only possible options are going to be the ones in here, so let's just get that out of the way. And then Singing Sandstorm, we can use here. Pull 1 in, destroy that. Okay. We are reclaiming on lightning. Scour the land, really good for us. No fire, unfortunate all around though. We do have actually too much blight for Scour the land to be really useful anywhere. Let's think about you later. And here, I think we want to go energy track to get up to 2 energy, which will give us 3 energy that we can play off of this. Yeah, I think that's right. And let's go ahead and grow here. Call to Bloodshed, useful immediately. Lure, maybe. Sweltering Exhaustion we want to use to stop this Ravage, and we do have range on it. We can't really use Gift of Searing Heat anywhere productively. If we don't use Call to Bloodshed and use instead Call on Herders, we can get a better level of our innate, though, which I think is really strong for helping to clear out this land. So let's look at Lore of the Unknown, and we'll use that to pull this town out of here so it doesn't build a city. Great, I think that's a good line. And then here, I don't like any of these cards. Gain a minor power seems good. And I think those three are strong. Is there a good use of call on herders to stop a build? Because it has a range 2, which is really nice. Yeah, we can actually fully stop this build. Okay. Great. So, Lightning's Boon over to Heat. And then Heat is going to be using Sweltering Exhaustion there. Lure of the Unknown, we pull this town out. Call on Herders, gather in these two Dahan, and then we can push the uh, town explorer. And the reason I'm adding them into here is that I think that we are going to skip this land because this land will likely get cleared right now. Okay. Well, not quite cleared, but it just has an explorer and a town left, so it is something that we can easily clear out fast next turn. So this will be the only land that we have anything going on in, so we can just skip it with Sweltering Exhaustion. Okay. And now we have a town kill and a strife add. That's good. Where do we want the town kill? I think... Hmm. Okay. We have to figure out how we're going to push Dahan to get fear, too. I mean, I guess just pushing these straight into here. We're skipping this anyway. Hmm. There's no good strife add. I mean, we still get fear just for doing it, so uh, I don't hate it. Oh, actually, maybe we are supposed to add strife to the city. We kill the town. Okay. Everyone has to lose a presence, which is painful. We don't... Ooh, if we're reclaiming next turn, gaining an energy is actually quite good. And I think we are going to reclaim next turn. Okay, lose a presence here. And we're definitely discarding. Okay, exploring the land with the fewest total. Sure. There. That's going to build, so we don't want it. So I guess we're going there. Add a disease to a land with 3 or more. Sure. Push up to 3 from a land matching a Ravage card to a land not matching a Ravage card. Remove an Explorer from a land with Dahan. So that stops that build. I think pulling this is good. Okay. So, over here, I think we are definitely reclaiming because we want to add a strife onto this town. We are not getting a single card with fire offered to us at all. Delusions of Danger can solve a land. I don't... let's go for the one that's free. We're energy starved. Okay. And... There's no good way for us... Yeah, we don't have enough cards that have fire on them that are affordable. So we can't hit that innate. I do think that there's value of like a Here There Be Monsters that only affects inland. We're building in the coasts, so it doesn't matter. Um, Call to Trade, we don't make good uses for. I think we're just going Gift of Power purely for giving someone a minor power card. We're probably going to take it for ourselves to try and break out of this reclaim loop. And then over here, um, we actually weirdly don't have to reclaim. I thought we might have to, um, but I think we might do it anyway. The alternative would be like gaining a major and going up to 3 energy, because we could play anything that had 6 energy or more. And we would forget something like Disorienting Landscape, which is just not it anymore. I don't hate picking up a major. Sleep and Never Awaken. We love a skip. Land Thrashes in Furious Pain. We have so much blight all over this entire board. This is a wonderful card for us. And we'll forget Disorienting Landscape. Add our presence here. And I think we're just going to target this land or this land. It feels good. Okay. Oh, we can actually we can play Here There Be Monsters even just for like doesn't I don't think it's going to do anything helpful, but we're reclaiming next turn anyway, so we might as well. Okay. Lightning Spoon goes over to here, and then the Strife ad goes there. We don't have any strong uses for Here There Be Monsters. We can make 3 of our own, 2 more of our own things fast. One of them is definitely going to be Raging Storm to just clean out one of these lands so it doesn't build. We don't need Gift of Power to be fast. 3 Fast Fear could be nice from Here There Be Monsters. Uh, oh, yeah. We just push this in so that that land full clears in the Ravage. And now over here, we can do Land Thrashes and Furious Pain. It is 2 damage per blight and 1 for each adjacent blight. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would do 5 damage in there. Or we could use it here to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to full clear that land. I think that might be a next turn move. And I think we're using this to give lightning energy so that one day it might break out of the reclaim loop. Someday. Is there any place where them doing 1 damage does anything? No, not really. I guess we could push this town into this land or this land to just sort of like consolidate problems. I think that's actually very sensible. And that gets us the extra fear from the beast. Okay. Lose a presence. Lose a presence. And we are going to discard for energy. Here's a little rain. Okay. We have 0 water. But we do have 2 water on this side. I kind of want to do the bottom option to proliferate because we have this awful Still Healthy card that is taking away our presence every turn, and because it'll get lightning a little bit closer to getting a little bit more energy each turn. Yeah, this seems good. Ooh, lightning does not have any presence in lands with Dahan, so if we do Easing the Drought, we're like not getting any good value out of it. That said, Call to Trade only skips if the terror level is terror level 2 or lower. We're not going to be there that long. We already do have 1 skip. I think we want to ease the drought. And to do that, we're going to forget Call to Trade. And if there's anything over here, no, not a single one. So let's do 1 energy per. Great. We go up to 4 card plays on the reclaim. Beast damage. Should have kept that town in there. Dahan defense. Coastal defends. Choose a different coastal land with Dahan. In each gather up to 1 damage per Dahan. Actually, really nice at stopping that. And then here, okay, so we only have 3 lands that built at all. Okay, and Gift of Power, use on ourselves to gain a minor. Quicken the Earth struggles. Finally, we get something with a fire on it. Call to Guard is like immediately useful. We could use it here to stop that build. We could use it here in the future. Veil the Knight's Hunt. I think a defend 10 is going to be better. Okay. So, reclaim, gain a minor. Fire in the Sky can get immediate value here and is on element. Purifying Flame can go fast and do damage per blight. That's really nice. I like Fire in the Sky. It is just like fear and yeah. Okay. And then next turn, we go up to 3 energy, and we've got all these cards, which gives us 2 fire, 2 air. It's not quite. Yeah. I think this is a good line. And then here, we're reclaiming. Let's see. Sucking Ooze is very nice. A little fear. Dark Entangled Woods gets immediate value just defending this or this. We have lost many of our beasts. Dark Entangled. Let's go. I like land thrashes to clean this up and make it fast. And then energy over here. Lure the Unknown can like pull this explorer out to stop it from building. And then 1 more card, and if it's a fire rock, we get the 3rd level of the innate. So like Stinging Sandstorm fits in well for that. Ooh, we do need a little bit more defense though. Actually, Fire in the Sky solves this land. This land gets killed by the major. We'd love to have a Dahan here. And then this gets defended. Yeah, I think this is... Oh, who can play more? I don't think we want to play more cards, though, even though we can go up to 5, because we want to go up to 3 energy next turn. Okay. Let's... Ooh, wait. Our innate can deal with this, so therefore we don't need to play Dark Entangled Woods. And we can send do Stinging Sandstorm to get the better level of the innate. Okay. So that will now full clear. Raging Storm. I mean, this is like the most inefficient Raging Storm ever. Is there a better card than Raging Storm? Could we instead do like Shatter Homesteads to destroy a town? Yeah. That's 1 fewer energy and 2 extra fear. Okay. Great. And the Shatter Homesteads we'll use in the slow phase. Gift of Searing Heat. Okay. We can give them energy, or we can have them pay energy to kill this explorer. I do like killing the Explorer. Let's make our other easier decisions first, though. Okay. We can do 4 damage and 2 to Explorers, which will, I think, fully clear this in the slow, right? Because this will build a town. So it'll have 2 towns, a city, and 3... Oh, there's a disease in there, so it won't actually build. So therefore, we can just full clear it now, so we don't have to think about this land. And then over here, spend 1. Okay. And then Shatter Homesteads in the slow kills this. This land will clear itself. So then the 7 sands and the 7 jungle will be the only things left ravaging next turn. Losing some presence. I think we're going... This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we'll have 4 energy plus 5, 6. I think we do discard 1. Just because we're going to want to only be at 4 card plays because we want to go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can't go into the reclaim with just 4. I mean, we could actually. Yeah, let's not discard. And then over here, we are so quickly running out of presence, which you hate to see. We actually don't have any uses for Quicken the Earth Struggle. I think we might just be forgetting that or discarding it. I don't know, that doesn't feel good. Here There Be Monsters also doesn't have any good uses. So let's forget that one. Add an Explorer to a land with Blight. Sure, that's an easy one. And then here, it will die in the Ravage. In each land with 10 cities, 1 damage per Dahan. And that Dahan has passed away. Little Dahan defense and some energy. Remove an Explorer town from land with Blight, or an Explorer from a land adjacent. Or from a land with beasts. Yeah. Okay, we're only building a single land. Jungles come back. Kill that town. And then flipping over to here, Stinging Sandstorm can be used to like clean something out. This jungle will die in the back-to-back. This one didn't have any source. Killing this with Singing Sandstorm could be good. Just to stop it. I like that. Okay. And now we've got some cool cards. Gold Allure is very on element, and mountains aren't currently active, so it's a nice place to stick stuff. Desiccating Winds is so on element, but we don't have any bad lands on the board. Game's almost over. We're not going to find a use for it. I like Gold Allure. And then we add a presence. Let's go here. We do not need Sweltering Exhaustion, so let's just play the other 5 cards. It saves us a little bit of money, and we'll reclaim with 6 energy. That feels good. And we never had enough air. Actually, we get the 2 damage innate if we play air. Though we don't need it. Actually, I think we want to place our Sacred Site differently. Because I want to be able to target this with the damage innate. Okay. So we did get to do 4 damage. We can then use that to kill like City Explorer there. We don't have any place to use Fiery Doom, so we're just paying 1 energy for 2 fear. Instead, I guess doesn't really make sense to use Dark Entangled Wood instead because it's worse elements. But okay, yeah, I think this is fine. And then over here, our problems are mostly solved. So we're just finally adding more presence to the board. And we have to actually do that in a slightly different order. The range 2 presence add can go here, and the range 0 presence add goes there. Okay, and we get one fast play. This defend 10 is useless. I don't even know why I'm playing it. For elements, no. I think we're just underplaying because we're in a good enough position. So this land is solved, this land is solved, this land is solved. The wetlands are our issue. And then this turn, Sweltering Exhaustion, we're playing basically just for the build skip. This has no good uses, that's fine. Let's skip building here. Okay. And then Raging Storm. I guess if I do it here, the 4 damage will ultimately let me kill that fully with the innate. We'll discard that for energy, and discard that for energy. She's land with cities, build there. This lets me skip 1 builder Ravage action. So we could go there. I do like building here because this is just like a terrible land that is a problem. Gather Dahan into a land with Dahan. I don't know, we don't need this. Pair up our Dahan. Pair up our Dahan, whatever. Skip the build. Okay. And now 4 damage clears this. Terror level 3, we just have to kill all the cities. And there are 4 cities in this land and 1 city in that land. And so I think the eventual game plan here is going to be to get a Sacred Site into here and then just use the full innate, right? Where we do 1 damage to each invader plus 4 damage and just clean that up. Gold's Allure. I mean, let's Call to Bloodshed right away, clean that up. Call on Herders per aid, we can use to gather or to push some of these explorers out. So let's great, that'll now die in the Ravage. If we use this here, it pulls this Explorer in, and then there's no town to pull in. And then Gift of Power ourselves. Finally, a nice fire card, and we're taking it just because we need fire. Okay, Reclaim, gain a minor. No fire again. Cool. I guess. The defend? Sure. And then here we are reclaiming, gain a minor. Unquenchable Flames adds a Badlands into a problem land. That seems great. Okay. So we're going to play Land Thrashers and Furious Pain to clear this land out, because it'll do 4, 5, 6, 7 damage. It does damage based on Blight. And maybe there's a place where we can repeat this? I don't know. Let's think about that. Gift of Searing Heat. 2 range away from a Sacred Site. We're not close enough to skip this, so this is going to Blight, which we're going to view as just fuel for the future Land Thrashes and Furious Pain. Unquenchable Flames. We like it. And then, Dahan damage doesn't matter right now. We don't need any defense, right? Yeah. Lord of the Unknown can stop a build. Great. And we're already at full innate, so everything else we're playing here is just kind of for like gravy. Okay. Gold Galore to put everything into one land on this board. And then next turn, we're just going to start making our way over to this board. And then here, we want our slow to fast. Raging Storm can stop a build. That's nice. Shatter Homesteads is good. Is there a way that we get up to the third level of the innate? That could be very nice. No, we don't have any zero cost fire cards. So I think we're just focused on playing a card that could be useful with fire, and then a zero cost Gift of Power to throw back to ourselves. And we have 2 energy, we're gaining 3 a turn. We're going to go up to like 4 energy next turn. So I think we're at the point where we can afford to pay for some of these. Okay. Ooh, we can repeat this. Interesting. It has to be an adjacent land, though, which is terribly inconvenient for us. Well, this is already solved. That's probably going to get solved. I guess it doesn't feel good. We should use that slow, actually. Lord of the Unknown to stop that build. We're going to use this here in the slow phase. And then I think we kind of want to use, if we use the +1 damage, we stop a build there. That seems good. Yeah, we have enough energy for everything. Okay. Poison Dew we'll use slow. Shatter Homesteads will use slow. And then Harbingers will use slow. Okay, lose a presence. And I think we do want to discard one. None of our mountains are going to need defending, so we can forget Dark and Tangled Woods or discard. And then here, let's lose you. Ooh, wait, is that right? Because we want to destroy a town. Huh. I think that's fine. And we'll forget Here There Be Monsters. Okay. Choose a limit town cities, add a blight there without cascading, and you can destroy 2 presence or Dahan in that land. Okay. Slow Dissolution of Will. We're going to pick, I think, wilds here because we have mostly clear boards. In each land with 3 or more Dahan. Cool. Choose a different land and each gather up to 2 Dahan, 1 damage per Dahan. Okay. I mean, we could pull these Dahan over to clean this up. Yeah, that strikes me as correct. Because there's no way to get Dahan into that land. Whoa. Oh, yeah. Sorry, we knew that was happening. And so we add a town there. Okay. This is all fine. Gold Allure, pull in this Explorer. Okay. Unquenchable flames. We're going away from sacred sites, I guess. No good uses of that. That's fine. And then over here, we can kill a town and kill some explorers. We can push Dahan. So we're going to push these in so that those die in the Ravage. Add some Strife. Okay. Gift of Nature's Connection seems good for hitting innates, and it costs 0. Animated Recruit is a 0-cost fire. That's great. Savage Maw Beasts. We don't have the... let's go Animated Recruit. Okay. And so we are going to add our presence. We have 6 energy, so we can play everything. Raging Storm plus Quicken does a lot of work here. And then in this land, we are going to add into here, and we can just play all 5 of these. Okay. So push out of this. That gets solved. We can skip a build action somewhere. Let's skip you, so there will be nothing on this board. Everything else is slow. And then over here, we are going to Quicken the Earth Struggles, 1 damage to everything. Raging Storm, 1 damage to everything. Haunted by Primal Memories. All of our... Everything is defended. I mean, I guess over-defending these can't hurt. Just do this for fear. And then... Yeah, I mean, just some more fear. Okay, we lose a presence. Remove 1 Blight per player from the Blight card, returning it to the box. We can destroy 2 presents to stop that. I don't think we need to do this, because I think we are killing everything that we need to in the slow phase. So yeah, let's just allow it. Each player removes an invader from a land with 2 or fewer invaders. Sure. Downgrade a coastal thing. We don't have those. Remove an explorer town from any land, or remove a city from a land with... Okay. And we can neatly clean this out. Whew. Okay. We got very unfortunate draws with Pandemonium Lightning. Basically nothing with fire, nothing with 0 cost. Those are the things we're looking for. I think if I were looking back at this game, I would have considered using Gift of Searing Heat more for energy than I did for pay 1 energy to do 1 damage, given how energy-starved Lightning is. I don't think I made the right choice with that. And then Land Threshes and Furious Pain got crazy good use. I do like this card into Sweden when you sometimes have some early Blight. And Pandemonium, I like Quicken the Earth Struggles combining with Raging Storm. I think that's a cool effect. I'm really glad that I found like some good use for Raging Storm. Let me know if you enjoyed this game. Have a nice one.